We're live. All right, guys, this is Coach Keeney. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm super excited that we are giving away 100 grit points for anybody who does a shout out. And those of you guys that are in our 10-week training program, crank it out. All you do is sign in down below where the chat box is if you haven't done it. And a lot of you guys already have. I think there's about 1,500 or so grit points that we've awarded so far. So we're excited about that. Hey, this is a really unusual time. And I want to start by telling you that I am super proud of you guys. Most of you that are training are doubling and tripling your hours and really going hard at your training right now because it's positive. It keeps you guys positive. It keeps you engaged, keeps you doing something good for you. And listen, we all know soccer in the scheme of things isn't that important, but keeping you positive, keeping you engaged and keeping you challenged is. And I want to help you with that. So this session is going to do a few things. First, I'm going to take a few questions that I've gotten already, and you guys can ask any question you want on any topic, but I'm going to answer a few, and then I'm going to review some technique videos. So we've selected several technique videos from players that we've talked to and said, can we use your technique? And kind of analyze it, do a quick analysis. So you're going to see a bunch of those videos. And what I'm going to do, YouTube has changed a little bit. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to put them in the chat box and give you a few seconds to watch them. And then I'm going to break it down and talk about the technique. So let's start with some questions. I've got a question from Clay in North Carolina from HFC, which is a really interesting question. How can I, as a very unschooled coach, this is a parent of a player, keep my highly motivated soccer player challenged during this stay-at-home period? Should I encourage her to concentrate her attention on weak areas, or should she be focused on sharpening skills that are already a part of her repertoire? So I got a couple of pointers for you guys. And this is the same pointer I have for everybody here. Number one, there's been a lot of research on what are the similarities between pro players, the best players in the world. And there are only a very few that are truly similar. And one of them is this. They all grew up with having a personal training space at home or very close by. What I mean by personal training space doesn't have to cost anything. We built one in our basement where the two kids cleared out an area of the basement, bought $4 worth of chalk, wrote the word Trick Factory on the wall, and then made it their personal space. So having something simple close by that you can train in your backyard, in your garage, on your driveway, in your basement, someplace close by that's personal to you is really effective. So that's the first thing I'd recommend for everybody. Have a personal training space. The second thing is on, I think, Clay, if you are not training right now with us, go to our homepage. There's a cool, free assessment, a skills assessment, and it takes about 7 minutes to go through it. You and your daughter will answer some questions together, and it will look at your gaps, look at your strengths, and for her age and level, it's going to recommend the kind of training that she should be doing right now. So that's the first, my recommendation on that one. He asked two more questions. First, the next one I'm going to address pretty quickly. What's your take on using chess? Interesting, particularly speed chess, because there's some talk about understanding how certain games outside of soccer are played could help you tactically. Here's my advice on that. Unless your player is absolutely mastered the ball already and mastered the game. So for example, they are already in a level 3 plus, a 3 to even a level 3.5 plus on all of our kits, then spend your time mastering the ball. Mastering the ball takes a long time, and it gives you lots of freedom and speed of decision because you are comfortable and composed on the ball. So I would not be doing those kind of things at a young age. If I am already at the elite level, and I do train some MLS players, I do train some pro players. There's a young player who's a pro player now, U17 to U19 player in Europe that trains with us. And they would still be focused on their technical game, mastering their ball technically first. The last one is a great question. It's that we're in a gloomy time. As a parent, I'm grateful that my daughter happens to love soccer and gets involved. How can we use this time to reflect on help build stronger teams in the future? And I thought that was interesting. And I think there's a couple things. One is pay it forward. So find other people that you can share I see this white thing. Okay, hold on. We have a special guest. We have a special guest. Cameron just brought in a special guest. So we're just going to introduce you guys. If you haven't seen or met Simon, you probably have heard a little bit about him. This is Simon. No, I really don't like that. But he is an amazing dog. I'm going to make a video of him at 9:00 at night. Every single night, he turns crazy. He has so much energy and he plays like unreal energy that I want to have. But anyway, I'll make a video on that. So back to that question. How do you help build stronger teams from this unfortunate sequence of events that we're going through right now, which is super serious? Well, I interviewed an amazing coach yesterday. He's the coach of Messiah. Messiah College is the winningest program in Division III, and they are absolutely an incredible program. We have a few of those players on the call with us tonight and that are training with us. But I want to tell you that one of the things that he said was that I loved was that their seniors are servant leaders. And this is for you guys. You can be a servant leader, which means you are putting other people first. So how it applies at the Messiah College program is that the seniors eat last. The seniors do everything last. They take care of the freshmen, the sophomores, and the juniors, the underclassmen. They take care of them first. And what a wonderful way to be thankful and to pay it forward to others. So I love that culture. And there's so many more things that I learned in this 1 hour call with Coach Fry that I'm going to put into small little bits and pieces of videos that you're going to see over the next several weeks. Just incredible advice. And he has a 91.9% win rate, but they don't talk about winning. And the girls that are on the phone right now will tell you, they don't talk about winning. He said the last time I talked about winning in a game, pre-game, was 5, 6, 7 years ago. So what does he talk about? What do they talk about? I'll share that with you. All right. So let's go through a little bit of the technique discussion first, and then we'll come back to some more questions. What I'm going to do is post a video for you guys right now. I'm going to have you watch this video. This is a technique video from a player in Helsinki, and I want you to take, it's a short video, but I want you to watch it. And this is for those in striking. And I'm going to give you guys about 20 seconds or so to click on that and watch it. And as you're watching it, she's really quite an excellent player, but her approach is correct to the ball because she's trying to learn the La Puga, the Messi technique in our Messi free kicks team, on how to strike the ball over a wall, bending away from the keeper into the side pocket. So she's got her approach right. Her plant foot is right. Her strike is good, and she has really good follow through. What she has to work on, what Annika has to work on now, is repetition. And that's the same message, honestly, in every single one of you guys. Once you get the technique down, it's repetition over and over and over again. Deliberate practice, repetition. And I would tell her one other thing. She needs to add a mock wall, because the second you get something that you have to get over, your mindset changes. So deep practice, and I believe this player can get to probably somewhere between 6 and 7 out of 10 consistently. So that is our first video. The second video.
Want me to give them the pointers here?
Yeah. Go ahead, and Maria's going to post those few pointers just so you can see those. The second video is from Owen, and Owen is from AC Milan, Team AC Milan, and he's in close control. And this is 2 cones 8. So I'm going to have you guys watch this and take a second. I'll give you guys a few seconds to watch that. And as you're watching that, Owen's a much younger player, obviously, but I want to give him and give all you guys that are working on close control a couple of tips. First is that he stopped short of 5 full reps. I'm a stickler. I'm a stickler because I want you guys to do it as well as you possibly can with the best instruction you possibly can and do it completely. So even if it's slightly off, I'm going to tell you that. And because I want you to really be that particular about when you are learning technique, I want you to be that particular. The second thing he's doing, and this is a real good tip for him, he's letting the ball get away from him on the outside. If you see how the ball goes on the outside of the cones, the ball is getting away from him, which means he's got to reach for it to pull it back. And that is that one thing, plus this one other tip, will really help him. If he would make his touches a little bit smaller and more precise, plus get his eyes up a little bit, he'll be much more effective. So let me show you a player a bit older than him that I'm going to copy into here. His name is Logan. He's the current record holder for this. And I want you to see, click on this video that I just posted, and click on that video I just posted. And this is from Logan. And Logan he's
on the call.
Okay, he's on the call, but I can't. What team is he on? Do we know off the top of our head? He's on.
He's doing first touch and passing.
Yeah, I think he's on Real Madrid. I think he's Real. I think Real Madrid. Anyway, he did it under 10 seconds. Watch the difference in his touches. They're very precise and they're smaller. He doesn't let the ball get away from him, so he's got a lot more control. So that's the biggest difference there. The next one I want to cover is two-touch air. This is in first touch and passing, two-touch air. This is a hard one. And everybody tells me that the one-touch air against the wall, we do our wall ball at 9 feet. And I will show you here in a minute a pro player that I train that's doing it at 12 yards. So what's that, 36 feet? A big difference. You really, really got to strike the ball hard and be precise about it. But two-touch air, that record was just broken by Kate Markey out of Atlanta from UFA United Football Association, I think. And she got 45. So she just broke that record. So that video was sent out a few days ago, so I'm not going to post it here. I do want to share a video from a player much younger by the name of Jude in Alabama player. So
his other two siblings.
Yeah, this is a really interesting family. I love this family. Jude and the younger
Isabel,
and we know Isabel, the older player. What's the younger?
John.
Okay, so there's three of them. There's three from the same family that are trained together. In fact, you might have seen the video where they're at the beach. This was before the shutdown began, but they were training. It was really a well done video. And I think if I'm understanding correctly, Jude is the one who did all that video and the editing. So great stuff. But anyway, if you look at Jude's video, he is a couple of pointers I'd give Jude and anybody else, that working against a cement wall is ideal. It is so good to work against a hard wall because it gives you as much power as you hit it. It gives it back to you. There is a problem. There's a little bit of a challenge he has, and he needs a little more space behind him. You see how he's so cramped up. So take a little bit of time, clear that out. When you guys make your own personal training space, clear it out as best you can. And if you have to put it all back because your parents say, well, that's my washing machine or my dryer or whatever, then put it back. But the other thing I want to tell you guys is to pick a spot on the wall. When you're doing wall ball on the ground, you have spots, you have targets. When you're doing wall ball in the air, there is no real specific target, but make one. And what that forces you to do is be very precise with your vision, very precise with your strike. So you're not just trying to hit it anywhere on the wall, because that's going to knock you all over the place. You're going to be chasing it all over the place, but you're being very precise. That's the way I trained Brant Bronico. I told him, I say, when he first started with me, we were just trying to get the technique down. And then I said, okay, I want you to keep it within this box. Please ask him, because I'm going to post this video. Take a look at this cool video. This is of two pro players. The one pro player is a youth player who has basically quit playing youth soccer because she's playing for the U18 national team, a U19 national team, and a full pro team, the best team in her country. I just posted this is pro player standards.
Okay.
And it's just a short video that I made today, and it's showing two players. The first one is Annika, and it's two-touch wall ball, but it's only two-touch. She's not juggling the ball and then striking it. She receives it, hits it back, receives it with the other leg, hits it back, receives it with the other leg, hits it back, or the other foot. And inside of the foot, and she receives it with the inside of the foot and then strikes it with the top of her foot. That is extraordinary technique. The second player, Brant Bronico, is a pro player from Chicago Fire that has trained with me for years, and I've done a couple of projects with him that helped him go from 53 minutes of playing time in his first year as a rookie to almost 1,700 minutes the second year. And he said, I asked him what the difference was, and I have a video on this that shows this. And he said, it's the training we did in off season for 5.5 weeks. And what did we do? We did the same 3 programs that you guys are taking in the 10-week program. close control dribbling, striking and ball manipulation, first touch and passing. It's just that he did all 3 of them in 5.5 weeks. He completed them all in 5.5 weeks and went back and got on the field, and they basically didn't take him off. So anyway, I just want to inspire you for the 12 yards. 12 yards is extraordinary. I can't do 12 yards. If you can do 12 yards, do it. Show me a video, and I will give you a Hall of Fame shout out. All right. Let me go back to some questions, and then I'm going to post some more technical videos for you guys to see. If you have any questions, I see Ella Conway has just said she has a question. Go ahead and ask, Ella, and I'm going to address another one. Aria, close control player, said for the sole combo with the tennis ball. A lot of you guys are in the close control. There are several teams in close control dribbling out there. There are 3 teams out of the 6 or 3 big teams. So for the sole combo, which is week 5, so she's actually already tested for week 5. Those of you guys that are in the program with us, you know you're in week 5. I would like you to test as soon as possible. Test so you can get access to the second half of the training. So she's already done her testing, so she has access to something called the sole combo with the tennis ball. She's saying, when do you expect me to be able to add in the tennis ball? And to be honest with you, get the sole combo down first. And then when you have that down and you can raise your eyes a little bit, then start with the tennis ball. The tennis ball is strictly to get your eyes up. And if you can get your eyes up when the ball is at your feet and not have to stare at your ball, guess what happens? You see everything around you. So that's why we put the tennis ball in there. Will the portal still be open after the 10 weeks is over? Yes, we're actually going to give you an extra 2 weeks of training. So for those of you guys that started late, you get an extra 2. Everybody gets an extra 2 weeks. But all of the data and all of your achievements and your results are there, for, after that 2-week period as well. Okay, another first touch player from Tennessee Soccer Club is injured. So how do we handle injuries? And they're required to not do anything for the next 2 weeks. So we change you to an injured player so that the team doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? That doesn't take a hit. They don't take a hit for your hours or your skills not being posted. However, you still have access. And what I want you to do is I want you to study video. Olympians, and I posted this when I sent the last video out. Olympians train in their mind. They imagine. It's not called visualization. It's called imagery. And the reason why it's called imagery is that they're actually seeing themselves. They they hear the wind. They smell the wonderful outdoors. They see the grass. They feel everything. And that is proven to work. So I sent you guys a link on that 2 emails ago on how to do that. And so I strongly suggest, some of you guys are going to be homebound. I know one of my players in California and San Francisco can't get out. They have a really strict shutdown there. They cannot get out. They can't get out of the house, at least for the foreseeable future. So she's doing imagery. So I'm real proud of Fiorella. And she's a striking player too. So you can do imagery. Okay, one more question, and then we'll go back to technical, and then let's make sure we get Ella Conway's. Oh, she said, never mind. Heather and Eliza from CSA, which is Charlotte, joined at the start of week 3, joining 2 weeks late. Mom wants to know, should they be doing week 5 skills now? So no, I want you to finish. What I want you to do is finish week 3 and week 4 training this week. So by Sunday, I'd like you to be done with week 4. Everybody else is going to be, not everybody else, but most other players are going to be done with week 5 this week. You're 1 week behind. Don't worry about it. By the end of next week, I want you to quickly test as quickly as, and I say the end of the next week, I want you to, as soon as you can next week, quickly test, finish that up, and start the week 5 training, which is all the high intensity interval training. Okay. So let me go back to the next player that I want to post here. First touch, speed 3 touch. This is a great 2 videos that I love sharing with you guys. This first one is Becca. She's a college player and on Real Madrid, and has a score of 21. I have a couple of comments for Becca, so why don't you guys take a look at this video and take a look at that. As you are watching that video, I have a couple things that I want Becca to do and all you guys to do. Make sure you have 10-inch targets on the wall. You can You can put a piece of paper that's a 10-inch target. You can put a piece of paper on the wall. You can put a piece of paper on the floor, but you have to have a target. All right. She may have a target. I just can't see it. So it's hard to validate. And the second thing is to make sure she marks off, and it can be chalk again, the 6-foot mark. And the reason is you want to be really disciplined with your targets and the sequence that you're going through. What this teaches is very, very fast and precise footwork in small spaces. And how do you get away from players? How do you pass around players like this? You got to be super quick, be able to receive it, quickly get to the other foot, and get the pass off. So she gets 21 hits, but I've got to have targets. So the next time, Becca, that you do this, I want to see that you have targets. Now, I do want you to notice one thing. Why is she noticeably slower in the first half of the video? Why is she striking? Why is her sequences, why are they noticeably slower? I noticed that. I picked it up. It's because the second half of the video, she strikes it harder. That is a secret. All right, that sounds so simple. It's not technique. It's just you've got to put more power into this to go faster. And what happens here is that it forces her to be more accurate on her first touch, because as ball's coming back faster, more accurate on her push across her body, and more precise on her strikes. All of those three things are really good for her development and everybody else's development. So if you want to go faster, you want to get higher scores. Somebody else asked me this, sent me an email and said, I'm struggling. I can't get past 17. How do I do it? I said, you're not striking the ball hard enough. It's not pushing you to be faster. So here's an example of a player, a 16-year-old player who held the record for this. Let me send this to you guys. Take a look at this. Those of you guys, tell me if you guys know who this is. Anybody who knows who this player is. So take a look at that, and I'll talk you through that technique. I'll answer that question from Cheryl Schmidt. She just said, how far away from the wall are we supposed to be for 3 touch? And that is 6 feet. It is 6 feet from the wall, and the targets are 4 feet across. This is all in your testing video on the update skills page. Okay, so if you take a look at the video there, anybody knows that player, let me know. And what he's doing is he's striking the ball with some power. That's the only way that ball is going to get back and forth to you quickly. All right, he has to strike the ball with power. And he's got 24. So Becca, I want to see you get to, I want you to see you get up closer to Will and the rest of you guys. If you got a 17,
Mary said
you can do a 19. What?
It says his name is Will.
Good job, Mary. Mary gets 100 points. Yeah, it's funny. All right, so you got to strike it harder. Okay, last one, Kenzie, also a college player. Let's take a look at bridge striking. And then I want to go back to any questions. Hey, guys, ask questions now. Maria is here with me, and she will make sure that I answer your questions. Okay, this one is a bridge striking. And Kenzie's got a really good, strong striking technique. It looks effortless to her, but I'll have a few pointers for her. And she's a college player, and she's striking from 30 yards. So the bridge strike, for those of you guys in striking, is a lofted. It's kind of a floating back spinning ball. And the closest one to the proper backspin is her last of the 5 strikes. Okay. Now what you'll see though is she's got good consistency. She's got good power, but she doesn't follow through. And now at this, because she's strong, she's got good technique, she doesn't really need to at 30 yards, but I want her to go to 40 yards. And why would I be so keyed up on distance and power and accuracy? Well, if Kenzie can get to 40 yards and consistently drop a ball on a dime at 40 yards, she can do many things with it. Number one, she can change the point of attack. She can do a full crossfield change of the point of attack. Number two, she can deliver a corner kick to anybody she wants right there. And number three, what was number 3? What did I say? There's one more that I said.
I don't know.
If she's a defender, she can she can give a nice lofted ball to a forward, because most teams compact their strikers to their defenders in about 30 yards. So a nice, perfectly over the top ball at about 40 yards can spring a forward, can spring an outside wing, somebody free into the attack. So as long as it's perfectly weighted and perfectly accurate, Kenzie's got that foundation already done. She just has to work on that accuracy and consistency. All right, so let me show you. Okay, I'm going to jump to a young player here, also working on striking on the same team. Both these guys are in Team Man City. And this is Ellison. Copy link. And let me send this to you guys. Oh, yeah, much younger player. And she is working on driven striking. So driven striking is power. These are the ones that are just blistering shots. And of course, younger players aren't going to have the power that an older player would have, and that's totally fine. I do want to talk to you guys about personal best. Can you make sure I cover that before we wrap up? So take a look at her technique. I have a couple of tweaks for her. Her technique is a bit more of a bridge strike, which is a floating back floating ball than a driven strike. Driven, so you can see when she strikes the ball, her foot is kind of flat, which is making the ball go up in the air, and it's like almost like a chip, and it's back spinning. So Ellison, I want you to study the video again, but I also want you to watch this video, and this should help you and anybody else that's trying to master driven. I love that. I just made this video today, by the way, and for you guys. So take a look at this video, and this is a driven strike, but after a dribble. So you're beating a mock player, and then it's a driven strike after you dribble. So take a look at it. As you are watching that, the driven strike, actually, I think I have it annotated, so I'm going to be quiet. Narrated. Okay, so what I love about that is there's no keeper, and I don't care at any level, that's going to be able to stop that ball. And I've got a bunch of strikes with that same technique against a male keeper. It's a female player against a male keeper, and the male keeper can't deal with it. And it's not that it's male or female. It's just that when the strike technique is so well struck with the right amount of power, very few great keepers can get it. So that's why I want you guys to work on driven. So hopefully, Ellison, you understood that. All right, let me wrap up. And unless we have some more questions, I want to wrap up with personal best. I want to tell you guys, it is crazy out there. I do not want training. I do not want your training to add any undue stress. Now, why do I say undue stress? Because some stress is good. There's something called eustress, and I think it's EU stress is good because it means you are pushing yourself to get better. And that sometimes is a little stressful. If it's really stressful, you got the wrong mindset. It should not be stressful. You guys should be working on your personal best, the best that you can do, and don't care about the scoreboard. If you are just trying to beat your best, and if you got a friend that you love going back and forth, then that's obviously great. If you're the kind of person that loves trying to get on the scoreboard, that's great. I'd love to see you do that too. But if you're not, be happy with your own portal, your own personal portal, which is just you and your scores, your hours, your grit, and your skills. That is totally fine, and you'll be super successful if you only do that. The rest of it is up to you if you want to use it. I do want to say one more thing. There are 2 new records. I haven't validated this, but I got a text today and to say check the portal on 2 new records potentially being broken, and I think they're broken. So I will announce that in the next few days. I just have to validate it, making sure the times, the distances, everything are correct. But it looks like 2 new world records, and they are big jumps in technique. And I tell you, it's because you guys have more time. You have more time. I do want to say one more thing that I learned from the Messiah coach, which I think is great to pass on. He talked about, I introduced him to Anson Dorrance, and they had a conversation last week. And they both said that they are well prepared for this time that they're going through. Their team is well prepared for this time because they both are very disciplined and continuing their training, and they know how to train on their own. They're taking this time to widen the gap between themselves, both teams, and other teams. That's the way I want you guys to think about this. All right. And if you can help somebody, and if you can't do it in person, which very few of us have any chance of doing anything in person now, but if you can't, get on a Skype call, get on a video call, get on a FaceTime call, and help somebody else. You can share with them some of your training and say, hey, this is how I do it. Let's try and compete against each other or work together. That is a wonderful way to pay it forward to other people that don't have a plan, that don't have a progression of training that they're going through, that don't have really any idea what to do. And I want you guys to help them. If every one of you guys went out there and helped somebody else that's kind of lost, think of what that would do. And then you ask them, once they get up and go, and they help somebody else get up and go into. All right. Any other questions? We good?
I just want to point out Ellison's place that she was striking.
Yeah.
A trampoline with the playback net on the back of it.
This was a wonderful play. Yeah. Ellison's, if you looked at her striking video. Yeah. I love that some of the areas that you guys are training in are just super creative. Hers was on the back of a trampoline. He put 2 posts.
Well, yeah, it's a playback. It's a playback net
on the trampoline.
trampoline.
Yeah, he put a playback net on the trampoline. So just super creative. So really proud of you guys finding ways to get your training in. All right.
And if anybody has
one more comment.
Yeah, if they are having trouble with the drill.
Yeah.
If they're worried, if they're doing the proper technique, they need to email me.
Okay. So if you're in the Messy Free Kicks project, you guys know to reach out to me, because I will help you with that technique. If anybody else in the other programs, don't hesitate to reach out to Maria and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. And if she can't immediately help you, I will jump in, or Cameron will jump in. So we're going to have Cameron do one of these sessions coming up. Probably the next one of these live sessions will be from Cameron, and she can talk about her development. She can talk about being a coach at UNC, just a variety of things that will be a little different than the way I would do it. And I think you guys will get a big kick out of that.
And
so
Ella Conway had a question. She wants to know how we're doing during the coronavirus.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Ella. She asks how we're doing during the coronavirus. I'll tell you, there is a bright spot to this. One thing that's a little tricky is it's my 18-year-old's. She's 17. She's going to be 18 tomorrow. So we have this big party planned. We go to the beach and everything. All that's been canceled. So we're going to do it together. But we are spending a lot of time, the 4 of us, with our 2 dogs together. So it's,
and
I have
Cameron
to tell you.
Wants a couple of goats.
And Cameron, you are going to love this. She is really lobbying hard. What kind are they called? La Manchas?
I don't know.
Cameron has it in her mind. We're going to get goats. We're going to get 2 miniature goats. And I guess they're about 20 inches tall. And I think they're called La Manchas. And they're like, the guy said that they're like dogs. They're very social. And she's just determined to find a way for us to get goats. So if you see goats in our videos, you'll know that is Cameron. All right, guys. I am hopeful. If any of you guys are struggling with, just staying positive, if the coronavirus is really taking a lot out of you guys and you need some inspiration, you need somebody just to say, hey, this too shall pass. It is absolutely serious what we're going through. I don't want to diminish any of that, but I do know that we as a nation, you guys are tough. We're with you, and we're here with you guys, and we'll be here if you want to reach out and you need someone to contact. We'll be here for you guys. All right. Have a great night.